Welcome to the Blessed Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Raquel Tosin, and you have come to Blessed, where we talk about blessed being a mindset and not what you have or who you have in your life. All right, we are here on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, a charitable radio broadcast with the mission to empower, encourage, and educate. If you are enjoying the Blessed Podcast, I need you today to go to www.wytv7.org to donate. You can donate anything you like. $10, and $10 is a lot of money. If everybody gave $10, it would be a lot. So don't think all I got is $10. That is a lot. Okay. Thank you. We are in February, and it's all about love. I posted on my Facebook, I am love. Okay. Everybody out there understand when you're looking for love. No, baby, you are love. We are love. We might want some more love, but we are love. Okay. My guest today is LaShawn Wood. She was here last year. She came back because she got a lot of stuff to share. We're going to talk about love and marriage. And y'all, I have never been married. So I know for a fact that I cannot help in that situation because I'm not an expert there. So I had to bring in an expert, somebody that's married and somebody that's actually helping other married women. LaShawn, she creates successful relationships, where she helps women to create successful relationships and a fulfilled life by owning their feminine power. All right, welcome back, LaShawn.
Hey, glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
I want to get right into it because we only got 25 minutes or 20, it's not a long time. I want to start off by just talking about what is love, because I feel like a lot of people have a misconception because love is not just one thing. And you posted, I think, on Facebook, and you gave like all of these different things. And of course, you ended it with love is you. So I really resonated with, because that's what I talk about all the time. So talk about what is love.
Well, love is how you love somebody else or love yourself through another person. It's the reflection of your own self-love. I list or compared true love versus what we call Barbie love in that post, if I remember correctly. And the Barbie love was the romanticism, and he or she completes me, and I want to spend the rest of my life, and they make me whole. And what I've learned in my study is the bottom line is love is about you, but it's how you love you, how you are connected to, for me now, the bigger spectrum of life, your God essence within you, whatever that source is. Love is a vibration. It's a verb, it's action, but it's most of all, it's feeling. And it's not what someone is doing for you. Again, it is how you see yourself. So, when we go into relationships and they do not live up to this Barbie love, then we say love, that's not love. Love hurts us. Love does this. Well, it takes me back to that Teddy Pendergrass song about 70-30, not 60-40. He said 50-50. And I'm like, no. I'm sorry, Teddy. Rest in, heaven, wherever. But no, it's not 50-50. It is the wholeness of who you are based on your connection to your source, and then how you give that energy off. It's a vibration. It's a feeling.
Yeah. I love that.
And it's the way you live.
Yes, he says that love should be 100.
Yes.
We all come in with 100% of love. We are whole, full, complete people.
Yes.
You got 100% of love to give.
Yes.
Yeah, I love, yes. But you did have another post about love. You said that love is power.
Yeah.
It's transforming.
Yeah.
It's freedom. That one, I want to put a pin in there. We got to come back to that freedom.
Yeah.
Unconditional,
Yeah.
Commitment, connection. So I really wanted the freedom, because most of the time, I just have to be honest. When I think about a loving relationship like marriage, I don't think freedom.
I know.
I think, bound. I think, it's like, I got to tell somebody what I'm going to do. I got to ask somebody if I can do that. I got to get up and cook for somebody. I don't really view love and marriage as freedom.
And I understand, and it's so appropriate right now because that's what we're discussing. You got like single women, so to speak, are like, it's a trap. I'm going to lose myself. I'm going to be obligated to someone else. Then you got my sisters that are married that are feeling like I was trapped. I've lost myself. Who am I? And we hide behind so many things. So the reason I say love is freedom is because it helped me to be truthful with who I really am, not based on obligations. I don't cook on obligations. Now, when I first got married, I was cooking and doing all those obligated things. And I had to shake some sense into myself when I was like, you're not responsible for this man getting up for work and his job and his dinner. That's not your responsibility. Where I was stressing myself, I will be out somewhere. Oh, I got to get back home because he's about to go. And I need to, I didn't. And it just was like, no, honey, you're not responsible for that. Now where we are is I cook when I look at it as expressing myself for my highest potential. I want to give, not out of obligation. So I don't cook every day. Most of the time he cooks. And I'm not saying it's easy. We go, some of his stuff come back up. Some of mine comes back up. But like I told him, you didn't marry me because of my cooking. You didn't even know I could cook. So let's just be real about our connection, and then it frees each other up to be ourselves. I don't say like what he should do or could do, or is supposed to do with the car. He's supposed to do this. He's supposed to do that. No. Do I ask him to do those things? Yes. Honey, the car, you gonna get the car clean? Because if he don't, I will. If he doesn't do so, I was out there, we have a vacuum. I was vacuuming my car myself. I said, it's so funny because all the women on our block are probably like, that man, he's sitting there and she's out there vacuuming. Yeah. But like I said, I don't cook. We're not obligated. But when you give, it's so much better. It feels so good. And it's received in love, and we appreciate each other. Yeah. That's the basis of a marriage. Because without that, you are obligated. You feel trapped.
I love that. And, I'm just wondering, like, where do we even get those ideas? And why do we think that we have to abide by them? Like, because, I look at especially the Gen X generation. Because we were latchkey kids, a lot of us. Our parents weren't even at home a lot of times. You know what I mean? Right. We have an independent spirit. Why didn't we? I mean, you think about the kind of jobs we were doing and we did a lot of stuff that was out of the box, but why didn't we change marriage? What about marriage that made us feel like that was something we couldn't touch? It just, we got to do it that way or don't do it at all.
Well, to be honest, if we look at the history of marriage, it was basically a business deal. Before then, it was just men took care of women and children. Children took care of, women took care of the children, and you had community. Well, when the business of marriage came along, it became a contract on, okay, now the man knows for sure that's his child or his heir. His name lives on. So I'm going to provide you these things, security, protection. You're going to provide this, what have you, whatever I want, sexuality or sensuality, motherhood, devotion, all these things. And taking care of the household. So we find that in a lot of our religious books, a lot of our studies of marriage shows this, that it just became an obligation. And I believe we were scared to touch it because in a sense, it's human to want to connect to someone. Mm-hmm. It feels good to have someone next to you when things are going, when the world becomes too much and you have each other there. Even people who I was studying Hindu culture, and they were talking about arranged marriages and how after a while they found themselves really caring for each other. Mm-hmm. A couple of the women were like, I started to be in love with my spouse. Mm-hmm. But initially, no. So what that taught me was it's about a connection. But it's also the trade-off, I believe, that we don't understand our own, which is when we go back to love is power. We don't understand our own power, that we are whole, solid beings with potential beyond our imagination. And so if you're not sure of that and the world doesn't condition you, then you feel like there's this, I need this. So I'm not going to talk about the pink elephant in the room. I'm not going to shake any, these conventional ideas. I'm just going to go with the flow, settle, and do the best I can and collect my years, which I call collecting time.
You say collection. That is too funny. It's really interesting to me because I have a desire to be married. And it's like, I have to really get that picture of being bound and being, the not being free out of my head so I can really embrace and draw in what I'm supposed to have, because it's like, I always talk about the universe, and I know the people out there, y'all know I love God. I love God. But when I say universe, I am speaking of God also. But when God, universe, if I say I want love, but if inside I feel like I'm afraid, I want marriage, but inside I'm afraid, if I'm feeling afraid of it, guess what's not coming to me? Marriage is not coming to me. I know for a fact that it's because I harbor some fears, some deep-rooted fears, like, like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do that. Maybe I just need to stay single. Yeah.
And that's why I start with the subconscious. I go back and forth to be honest with, do I really want to help, put the focus on relationships, or is it really about the power of the femininity? Femininity leads you to your divinity. That's how I look at it. So it's not even just ending at femininity. It's the fact that when you tap into that, you'll see that I'm a divine being. I have both masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
But when we are in this body, of course, our primary, you said you want to talk about the superpowers, is that of in this body, this gendered body of a woman with a womb, or there, it could be gone or not. It's still the fact you were born in, in this day and age, is so much with being politically correct.
Right.
But that part of it is who you are, and that's what I focus on. So it leads you to your whole self. But yes, you are so right. You have to start with changing those thoughts, because it will keep it away. So I know sometimes my coach, and I feel like, it's hardcore. I don't know if people really are. One time, I had this thought, like, everyone wants to be a victim or a villain. Nobody wants to embody God. And I'm like, I see that in my sisters, and I'm like, we are so powerful. We're so powerful but you have to get to those thoughts, because it's deep rooted and it's biological, and it's also, spiritual. It's not just a will, like you're saying, okay, I'm aware. That's great, but there are other steps that go along with it, because your brain is connected to that fear, So it definitely starts there in the way that you think.
Yes, for sure. So let's move to talking about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is why I brought you to marriage. What do you think? So I want to talk about sex and marriage, because I used to hear a lot of people talking about they only had sex once a month, or they only had sex on, they had to, and I was just like, oh my goodness. Talk about, like, what's the purpose of sex in a marriage? Like, what is the purpose of sex in a marriage? Why should people not just do it once a month?
Right. Well, the purpose of sex is really to heal and to manifest. It's to heal each other and to bring forth, not just children, but bring forth the goals of the family. So that's the purpose of sex, if we just leave it at that. As far as the marriage, that's a different type of connection. That's between you mentioned the feminist superpowers. My training, I was taught about the 4 feminist superpowers, which are different archetypes that we embody, different energy, as far as looking, feeling, and thinking. So with the marriage archetype, we call her the wife, the devotee. So when the devotee connects to what we call a leader, it's a friendship type of connection. It's very intimate. So it's not unusual for the sex to decrease after the bonding period. That's all. It's normal. But there are things that you can do when you understand that, if you can understand that devotee and support choice, or the leader, is what we call appreciation sex. A lot of people are like, appreciation sex? I don't want to have sex out of appreciation. I want to swing from the chandeliers, and I want to, but that's like the bonding period. Or that could be what we call the bad boys. There are different types of sexual connections that we have as women when we are connected to our womb, and she will let us know. So a lot of times with a marriage, a quote, standard devotee leader marriage, it's usually the woman that her womb tells her, like, he would be a good husband. I'm really feeling this. He's a great provider. I feel secure around him. That doesn't sound like, things are getting juicy and luscious and it's not that type of connection, but you can cultivate it. You can cultivate it if you understand the root of it. So when they do, comes down to one time or twice a week, you will understand that, okay, where he works 12 hours, I work, we may have children or a business together. It's okay. But if we won't talk about, again, the pink elephant in the room, then it's like, well, what's going on? Do you not want me anymore? Am I not satisfying you? Are we not attracted? Where is the desire? Where is the passion? Where is this? Where is that? Instead of being aware that, yes, sex is going to wane. Now, another reason is because when you're married, you're usually up under each other. I did a live on this. If you find that you are at that moment where you're like, okay, I know what's going on, Sean. I get the connection I have, but what can I do about it? Well, you can break away from each other. Desire comes, what's the saying? Absence
make the heart grows fonder.
Yes, that's true. When you're away from each other, you have a life. He has a life. He has a man cave. You have your own bedroom. Hello? You have your own bedroom, your own room, your own space. And so what that does is that creates desire.
Wait, stop for a second. You got to go back. Because when you already know when you said your own bedroom, because that is speaking my language right now, because I ain't got to share my closet space. So are you saying that a couple who chooses to have separate bedrooms may actually increase their sex life because they have had time apart?
Yes.
Girl,
and it's biological.
Today.
It's proven with science too. I love to say it's science, baby. It is proven, because what happens is you are happy. You're happy. They're happy. There's a sense of freedom now, but you got to get outside of those ideas that says, that's not right. Why? I hear a lot of people, well, why get married? Well, why live together? Why do this? You can do what you want to do.
Yes. I love this. You are teaching, girl. You making me even. I'm like, maybe marriage is not. Maybe marriage is something I can get with.
You can, the way that you want to, but it does take work. It does understanding that, how did I connect to my husband? Okay, I understand that the sex may wane. It doesn't have anything to do with me, doesn't have anything to do with him. Now, once we do understand, I can then introduce and say, hey, am I comfortable with speaking about what I like? Am I comfortable with him sharing what he likes? A lot of times we don't talk. And that's why I say love is power. You find your voice and you can share. It's not saying it's easy,
right? But
the more you do it.
Yeah, and then because one of the things that somebody had asked, well, what are you looking for? What do women look for? I say, well, speaking for me, I'm looking for a safe place to be me. And that's the thing, is like, if I can have a safe space to say, hey, hon, I think having separate bedrooms might be cool, and he don't like attack me for it. Right. You know, that is because of those kind of things, you know, just like he is okay to tell me the kind of stuff that he liked without me attacking him for it. But that's like, for me, what you're saying, like, ooh, if I could know for sure that I found a safe place to actually share, I see how the power and the freedom could really be in that marriage. And then I'm free to say whatever is in my heart and not being trashed or put down for it. Right. Like that, when I think of that kind of love, oh my gosh, sign me up. That's girl. What I want.
That is it. That's it. And it does. It takes cultivation. It takes work, because it's the same for the man also. He gets to say, and I hear a lot of this, oh, he can't do so-and-so. He's out with so-and-so. Let that man go and be and find something. That increases your attraction. You go work out, whatever, something you love to do. It increases your radiance, you know, and he's like, oh, she doesn't need me like that. Now, then it may bring up his own, she don't need, it can go back and forth. But when you have tools and you have knowledge, you got tools, you can make it through it, you know?
Yeah, girl, that's so good. So these are the kind of things that you talk about to the women, your clients. And so I know you have a Facebook group. It's called the Naturalized Women's Group?
The Actualized Women's Group.
Actualized Women's Group. And so anybody can join that. They go, if they Google that, and on Facebook, they search for it and they can find it.
It's joinlashawn.com, www.joinlashawn.com, and it'll take you right to the Facebook group. And it's about self-actualization based on Maslow's law, about, you're responsible for you. The benefit is your relationships and everybody else. That's the purpose and benefit of love, is you get to share that. But it starts with you first.
Right. Okay. So we are almost out of time, but when you said responsible, it brought up something else I know you talked about. Who is responsible for our orgasms?
Honey, you. You. Now, you may be able to, because I had one client saying, look, now I've tried this. I told him what I like. I wasn't in my head, because I say a lot of times with women, if we're concerned about our bodies, and I'm speaking from myself also, this is work I've done. We're concerned about our bodies. We're concerned if the children are up, can they hear? Is this too loud? Does he not like so-and-so? I used to be scared to say, I like music. I'm like, you know what? I want to hear some music. Because I was scared, like you said, what if he thinks that's silly? And I think one time he did say, why you got this on? Why these cameras? And I just went with it, because it's like, okay. Now I'm like, no, I want this. So it's on you to speak for yourself, to learn different things. I enjoy introducing Tantra to a lot of my clients. Where it's a deeper intimacy. It's not always about penetration. It's not always about the happy point and the end point, so to speak. It's really about how you connect with each other. Sex is so big. Like I said, it's healing. It's healing.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you're saying. I'm like, we are really out of time. It's just, we can go on and on because you got so much. So tell them again, how can people reach you so if they want to work with you to get some like one-on-one type stuff, not in the group, but one-on-one?
Yeah, you can go to LaShawnDWoods.com. You have a free conversation with me, 30, 45 minutes. I always say 30, but I normally go over because it's a lot. And I really want my sisters to get it. So you can go there. That is the best place. And all my social media is LaShawn Woods. So yeah, LaShawnDWoods.com is my website.
That is so awesome. For anybody out there like me, single, 51, thinking that, you know what, maybe this marriage thing ain't for me. We got to think again. Let's rethink, let's reinvent, let's redefine what marriage is for us. Because that's probably why we're not, when people say, why aren't you married? And you're like, well, nobody asked me. That's not really the truth. That's not, you know, even though I can say, well, nobody's asked me, but really it's me. Yeah. You know, it's me. I do get that. And so if I could reimagine what marriage should look like or what marriage could look like for me, for you, and then I don't have to buy into what other people talk about, what other people are doing. It has nothing to do with me. That's not my business. That's not my business. So, but it's what I wanted. And I mean, it makes me like a lot more hopeful that you know, when I say I'm ready for love now, like I can really, you know, after putting some more thought to it, I probably am ready for marriage. The way I envisioned it. Right. Not the way.
When I hear you saying I'm ready to be myself.
Yes. And with someone else.
Right.
So I can always be me in a comfort, in a safe space.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then
gives me chills. It
really
really does.
I just think about how when people say, you know, married people, they can do more. And I look at like, I could grow more wealth if I'm in that kind of surrounding, that loving surround. I could flourish even more. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that is like something that it excites me. It excites me. I appreciate you. Okay. I hope everybody out there is loving this. We just passed, you know, Valentine's Day, and now y'all getting this. Y'all probably is like, well, you should have told us this. But we had a whole lot of good stuff for y'all. Now y'all got some more good stuff. Listen, this is the month of love. Let's do this. Let's love ourselves and let's find love. Let's find the love that's going to make us even flourish even more. Until next week, be blessed.